Live.
Hello and welcome to Let's Drone Out, episode 359, with special guests the FPV Combat crew. You are joined by Curry Kitten, everyone's favourite.
Hello. It's actually
Cole,
everyone's favourite Curry Kitten. It's going to do the order
everyone's favourite Curry Kitten,
Hello. That's
the original, the best.
the
Really,
only.
really specific about his title, Curry Kitten.
Yeah.
Our social media wizard, Cole.
Hello.
And the guest of the show, our outside broadcast, and one of the inventors of FPV Combat, I believe, Matteo. Welcome, Matteo.
Hi. Well, thank you. Thank you for letting me here, actually. It's my pleasure.
So, as you can hear by that rip roaring behind you, Matteo is actually in a field and has been flying all day.
Actually, that was the purpose of the trip to here, and I'm in Model City, which is a beautiful place in Czech Republic, and we are having our very first FPV Combat camp meeting. So people from all over the Europe actually travel to this field here just to have fun trying to fight with the FPV Combat system.
Now, I know
So
you were on the show a few episodes ago, but could you give us a refresher on FPV Combat?
Yeah, sure. Basically, FPV Combat is a platform that was born about 5 years ago when I started the development. And it is a platform that will allow you to have fights based on laser tag technology, similar to laser tag technology. So it is based on infrared. And basically, it will add the possibility to have dogfight simulation on RC models. And it can be used with basically any RC control model up until you provide a standard PWM signal. And yep, that's basically it. There is the OSD integrated in the system that provides a few information to the pilots, like ammo, lives, and you can customize several different parameters to make the experience a little bit more immersive and addicting, because that's why the people are here flying, as you can see in the background.
Yeah. For the people that are listening on audio podcasts, we can see a wide array of planes whizzing past Matteo's head in the background. Fortunately, you've got a net there, just in case any of them come for you. So I was wondering, for an organised event like this, how have you organised it? How many people are going to be up in here at the same time? Are they fighting in teams, or is there everyone against each other? How have you formatted it?
So actually, it is a brand new category, this one, the FPV Combat, because so we don't have any standard. We are trying to figure out while doing it what is the best way to manage it. So we came here, me, Bjorn, and Stefano, with some ideas. We had a baseline that we are trying to follow with some challenges. Some of them are based on the combat system itself. Some other are just piloting skills, performance, and basically we have about 15 pilots today, and we expect to arrive a couple of more from Germany, I think, tomorrow. And yes, someone is traveling actually from Africa, so that was an impressive travel. Yes. So there are some people that really are joining this activity, and we are really happy that this is kind of taking off. So we split the people in heats for trying to get some trainings, flying all together, and of course we encountered a lot of difficulties because we have some digital pilots like DJI users, and other are, for example, only analog. So yesterday we spent most of the time just figuring out which was the best combination in order to get the best experience for everybody. Today was pretty windy, so we are basically starting to fly now that the sun is gone, and we will see how it will be, because we can fly. Yesterday we were flying till it was like completely dark with only the moon in the sky, and that was really unbelievable feeling. You can Yep.
That's
So
cool.
basically, we will have also some dedicated challenges, and we especially tomorrow there should be a fox hunt challenge. So we will make a kind of championship based on the game, which is integrated with the system. And on Saturday we are planning to make a championship only with the combat and also team fights. So we will build up some teams and we'll figure out who will be the best shooter.
Cool. So what did you learn from yesterday? Having sort of just sort of I guess put people up in the air. Did you find out what would work best when you've got a large meet like this, and what didn't work particularly, which you thought might?
So basically, the biggest problem we encountered yesterday was the analog and digital mixing, because even though digital is pretty clear and neat, it is also interfering with the analog systems, and especially on starting, we are using Raceband 5. Raceband as a standard for all the pilots. So channel should match basically all the system around, even though they are digital or analog. And yes, we figure out that basically digital user is better if they stay, if we assign the channels starting from 5 up to 7, 8. That is the best combination that we could find, because probably the fifth channel is where they have some telemetry feedback somehow in any case. So it doesn't matter if they set up channel 7, they will also be transmitting a little bit, and you will see the really traditional horizontal lines from
That's I think was that the public channel? It's either the public one or the one where they request retransmission.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew / Frank used to be particularly good on that. So the FPV Combat kit, some people just flashed up links to the hardware, the micro and full size kit. Is that the same as when we spoke to you last time?
Yes, that's basically the same. It has, of course, some improvement since since the first time we talked on here. So there have been some firmware release updates when I fixed some bugs, minor bugs that the system, of course, popped up during the usage from real life with all the people from all over the different environments will make different problems. So yes, it's basically it is the same. It has been improved a little bit in its performances, and yes, that's the same base kit. And we added also a few accessories actually from our last meeting.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Then there are some really cool accessories, especially the one that is I think most interesting is the special effect board, which is basically a board that you can stack on the main controller, and you can drive directly out of the system some pyrotechnical effects.
That's
and
cool.
This is something that I don't know if you recently see some flight test videos where they were making some explosion on the planes. That was basically FPV Combat with the pyro board. Yep. And we are planning to use that here as well, but maybe starting from tomorrow because we didn't have time to finish setting up everything.
We've got a question from Andrew asking about a 433 megahertz packet radio add-on.
I was just trying to remember this. Is this the one where it basically forms its own network so you can talk independently?
I think that's INAV radar, isn't it?
No, this is something a little bit simpler, under some aspect, and a little bit more tricky to manage under others. It is a completely open network because I wanted the system to be as much plug and play as possible from any part of the world. So basically, you just plug these modules. They came with a standard configuration, and they will not be the network. They will just broadcast each module its information at a very specific time. So the system is optimized in order to limit the amount of information and just get the needed one. So you will not get a continuous live stream of data from any board. You will just get some basic packet when something happens, like if somebody is shooting at somebody else and the victim gets hit, then you will have some transmission.
Oh, so this is for a scoreboard.
Sorry?
So is this for a scoreboard on the ground?
Yes, and it is used also for a scoreboard on the ground. Actually, we have a user from Sweden that he designed a commentator, and it's basically he connect one of those modules to the computer, and it has some really interesting jokes and comments about the match that is happening in the air. So like a player and nickname, I don't know, Sky B hit, I don't know, Chaos and something like that.
Like in Quake, when you used to have so-and-so ate so-and-so's rocket. Or...
sorry, I couldn't hear you again.
Like in Quake, there used to be messages like player 1 ate player 2's rocket.
Yes, something like that. And this is something that actually I'm really happy that user designed this, because they were so happy with the system that they spend some of their free time. They invested into designing something for the system to improve the experience. In this case, especially for DJI user, because at the moment there is no DJI, no OSD integration for the digital system.
Oh, that's a good point. And how many people are managing to fly in a heat? I suppose there's a question about if it's all analog or if it's a mix of DJI. I guess that'll make a difference.
Actually, we were 5, I think 6 in the air today, and we were not experiencing so many problems. We had more troubles with the wind, actually. It was really strong wind today.
I think 6 is pushing about the max you generally get. Even on ISM, is you won't generally try and go for 8, would you? It's just too much hassle. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it sounds like a good number, actually. It's a good balance point. Actually, already with 4 players, it's a good balance point because you can start having fun, and you will always see someone in your field of view of the camera. And we have, I think most of the pilots are also using head tracker system, and so the experience is even more immersive because you can really watch around, look for your friends and chase them.
I really feel you need some footage from the flight line. I'm just imagining all these 4 people all sat there, just all looking up and down and shouting at one another. I think it'd be really funny.
Yes. There would be, but unfortunately, I wanted to be able to make some better live stream with the live view from the pilots, but unfortunately my friend that has the all the devices like ground station, DVR and everything, he should have joined us from Italy, and he's sick now. He just got sick the day before leaving, and so we are without the gear basically to make to give a nice feedback now live.
Oh,
that's a shame.
But hopefully someone was going around filming some stuff, and you'll at least have some bits and pieces on YouTube from different users and stuff.
Yes,
I think that'd be really helpful to sort of show people its capability and things, and getting lots of people in the air.
Actually, we also prepare some accessories to make the experience even better and more immersive. For example, we have 3 HOTAS post stations. So basically, we modified some joysticks, and you can sit on the chair like you would be on a plane, and you can control your model while watching around with the head tracker and shooting at the other players.
Excellent.
And one of the best things that we tested, but not during the fights yet, because I don't know, people got scared maybe. It's that on some of these joystick we attached some conductive tape, and
well, then you'll get scared of that.
Yes, that's exactly what happened. And basically, the real-time monitors, there are some boxes around here that you can basically configure your ID, so they will listen to the information from your plane. Basically, will shock you or make some other effects according to which model you get, and you will get shocked basically when you get
That's
hit.
a design lifted straight out of a Bond villain's game, you know? Like, there was a Sean Connery movie where the villain tried to electrocute Sean Connery while they played a video game.
Okay, I didn't saw that.
So you're literally a Bond villain at this point.
Yeah, and it's fun to see how people get shocked because the reaction is absolutely natural. There is no fake.
Yes, I imagine that's very true. I hope you've got waivers from everyone.
We will post something for sure.
Okay. So someone was wondering how big the field is, how much space you've got to spin around each other.
Okay, the field is an official flying field where have occurred of some kind. I don't know how big it is actually, but just to give you a jet turbine model, which is powered by a 20 kilograms thrust jet engine, and it was flying today here. And there is plenty space for
There's lots of space. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. You can look for it. The name of the structure is Model City, and it is in Czech Republic.
Yeah, it sounds
If
like quite a
you look
major place.
Yeah, actually there are bungalows, so we are all sleeping directly on the flying field. So we wake up in the morning with some jet turbines, maybe that is idling on the landing strip, or some, I don't know, 5-cylinder airplanes like 3-meter wingspan that is warming up, just ready to take off. And we are all here. That's a great feeling, like big family joining a great experience all together.
So if there's sort of more traditional modelers there, have you managed to convert anybody over to the idea of this? Have they been sort of quite excited by what you're showing them?
Oh, this is Bjorn.
Hello.
I don't know if you remember him from
Hello, guys.
live stream. So he's the main tester, I would say that.
Yeah.
He spent and also media maker. He spent a lot of time in promoting the system, I would say, and improving, giving feedback, and getting people involved in it.
Nice to meet you guys.
Yeah, good to meet you as well.
Yeah.
Hello.
I actually remember one of you.
Yeah, that would be this guy.
That's from me.
That
I was
was
the only one here at the time.
It's really hard to point across the screen backwards. Yeah.
I'll just grab a beer.
Okay. So, what have you been testing lately? What other bits and pieces?
So what did we test? Basically, not much, because unfortunately it has been incredibly windy for the last 2 days, so we can barely fly occasionally, and we spent most of the time in fixing the models after crashing them. So that was how we spent most of the time, but and the rest was mainly testing out some static targets. For example, we have a plane. You will not be able to see it now, but imagine like a small biplane which is fixed on the top of a fishing rod at about 5-7. Okay. On the top of the fishing rod at about, I don't know, 6-7 meters from the ground. So people
Did you also have gun turrets on the ground? Do I remember you talking about that last time?
No, we don't have gun turrets. That was an idea, but actually what we have now is a gun that you can hold in your hand and shoot at the plane. So, and from the ground. So basically you just give the gun to any participant or any person that is there. Like there were some kids here yesterday, and they were shooting from the ground to the flying planes while battling. And the good thing is when you see the plane that have been hit by someone, and
the pyro goes off.
Yes, maybe, or the pyro, but mainly since the system can interact with the control of the model. For example, it will force the rudder to shake, and so you will see the model that it has been hit by something, like, and even though it was just a light beam, but the feeling, the impression is that you hit something and somebody hit you. So that was mainly, we are just having fun till today, because the first 2 days we decided to make mainly testing, and today we were making training for the bomb drop challenge.
Bombs as well.
Yep.
Tell me more.
This is a very simple challenge that we thought could be fun, and basically there is a mechanism with a holder and a servo attached with some simple Velcro on the bottom of the planes, so you can move this device to each player that wants to join it, and we attach it on the bottom of it some spongy bomb looking. I don't know if you know, like if you ever heard about the Nerf Vortex. Yes, something like that. Very
It's like
small
a
size.
Nerf kind of throwing dart
Yes.
football thing.
Yes, exactly, something like that. So basically, it has also some whistle, so you can hear the bombs while they are flying, like, and then they hit the ground or the target. And so today we were training pilots to get the target.
So do you have a camera switcher, and you have like a view out to the bottom of the plane, and you have to?
No, that's how, I don't know, fighters in World War II should have
Okay. Just
used it.
decorating.
So you just have to figure out how to do that. There are some people, for example, that simply go very high and then dive straight into the target, releasing the bomb, and then they pull back on the elevator. And others simply use the wind, the strong wind, to fly incredibly slow. So they basically approach at almost zero speed.
Of course, much easier for the infantry to shoot them then.
Yep. And you just release the bomb and you see where it goes. And then
I feel you need to get the kids with the guns at the target, and it's like, okay, if you shoot the planes first, you win. If the plane hits your target, you lose. It's like combining the both.
Yeah, but we couldn't shock the kids, so it wasn't fair.
They're quite resilient. It's fine to shock them. It's okay.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. No, but actually, yes.
You should know, right? That's got to be experience.
Yes,
Exactly.
that
Shock mine
will
all the
make you a
time.
man.
Right. So there's a question about the size of the planes. In that picture that you showed us, there was a wide variety of different sizes, and you talked about jet turbines. So how do you fight when you've got maybe a very small plane and a very large plane? How does that work? Do you have weight classes?
So no, basically jet pilots are not using FPV Combat because mainly they are not flying FPV with such big and expensive models. And so this is just another flyer that is joining the same structure at the same moment. Okay. And we don't fly together, of course. When we collected the tickets to join the event, basically I submitted a check-in form where I was asking what was the size of the plane that they were planning to bring to the field. So we basically have 3 categories, which are below the 750 grams, and in the middle between 750 and 1.5 kilograms, and then over 1.5 kilograms. And basically, within this weight, all the planes are almost flying the same way. So there are some models that are a little bit faster, others are a little bit slower, more agile, but that is, in generally speaking, they have more or less the same amount of power, the same flight time available from the same battery. So we are pretty aligned. And also what we realized after using the system since a while is that people, of course, don't want to install it on incredibly expensive models. So it has to be robust, really easy to fix in case of crashes, because you will crash. There is no chance you will not crash with this. And it's not just because of the combat, it's just because there will be some mid-air collision. Everybody will try to chase someone. Literally, half an hour ago, they were fighting 5 pilots in the air, a few digital, other analog, and I could literally see the propeller of one plane in the middle between the wing and the tail of another one.
Ouch.
And we got it on DVR. I couldn't check it yet, but he was recording, so that was unbelievably close. Actually, the same plane was hit by another one, and he got almost cut in half the wing yesterday. Yes, so when you, it doesn't matter how much space you have here, because we can fly for, I think, like in a circle of 5 kilometers far from each direction.
But you're dogfighting, so everyone is in the same 100-meter space.
Yes, basically, yes. That's of course, digital users and heavier planes tend to fly a little bit farther, and of course, because, for example, the Comet from the German guys, they are models that with ready to fly with the battery are over, I think, almost 3 kilograms, and most of the other planes are just around 1 kilogram. And they, of course, fly in really different ways. For example, the Comet minimum speed is about 50 kilometers per hour. And with others, we can fly, I don't know, I think 20 is already in the air. So they need more space, and they fly with the bigger plane. So I have, for example, a Focke-Wulf, which is not that heavy as theirs, but it has some similar characteristics, since it is actually 1.6, 1.7 kilograms in the air. So they are faster, and they can pretty good have the same capabilities during fights.
What about
So we've
helis?
got
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's coming on the same question as you, Stephen. We've got a couple of questions about the types of aircraft used. Firstly, is it all fixed wing? Are there any ground vehicles or rotor vehicles, helis or quads? And a follow-up question to that was: is it what style is the plane? Is it your traditional tail and rudder, or is there flying wings, or is it a real mix of stuff?
Okay, I will start from the first one. We have some helicopter here, but they are mainly acro heli, and they don't fly FPV. With the drones, there is no one that's actually flying with the combat on it, and basically because this group is mostly made of people that flies fixed wings. So in the future, I hope that it will expand a little bit more to the drone community. But of course, you have to think about the rules in a little bit different ways, because with the drones, you are able to aim and stop very easily compared to the plane. So the plane will have to fly in one direction. With the drones, the risk is that they will start just spinning around each other.
Yeah, drones should have a handicap. Or all drones. What I'd really love to see is 3D drone pilots. That would be spectacular to see them dogfighting with 3D, like reversible motors.
Yes.
All quads can only use 3 motors. How's that for a handicap?
So yes, basically we are all fixed wings pilot, and they are mainly traditional wing planes. And the reason is very simple, because with fixed wing, the traditional plane has a profile that is more visible in the air. When you fly with the just flying wings, the problem is when you are at the same height, they basically align, and if you're flying analog,
flat profile, isn't it?
Yes, it will be just almost invisible. So we prefer to use like bigger planes. We are all about 1 meter point something wingspan, like 1.1, 1.2, 900 millimeters, something like that. And yes, they are all planes because you can see them very well in the air compared to the fixed wing. We have some fixed wing, but generally when they take off, they will just start killing all the others. So it will not really be fun for the other, because it will be just trying to avoid a little mosquito that is following everybody.
Actually, I think that's going to look better on the head tracking stuff. When you've got a head track and you look over and you've got the wing there and you've got other aircraft, I think that always looks a lot cooler than just a simple "I'm flying a triangle." That's always nicer.
Yes, the feeling is way more immersive, and actually also for maneuvers. You can really look for the other opponents in the air. And something that we are gonna try to make is also some formation flight. I think a big comet just took off, and yeah, one of the heavy one. I don't know if you can see, but here is basically night now.
Hmm.
I think you will see maybe some lights in my background.
Yeah, I just saw
Excellent.
a streak of light go past a minute or so ago. It just looked like this
You should
green
be.
blur.
Now you see just behind
there's
me.
one, yeah.
Here.
There he goes.
Yeah.
And
That's pretty cool.
we have no idea how he's capable of flying because he really can't see really a lot now.
It's got one of
with
those special cameras.
Yes, but yesterday we checked that even though it is a digital, you should see it again. Yes, and so it's a digital
all the lights come
DJI flyer. It
Really?
was
Wow.
yes, but of course it was really dark. We had some lights on the landing strip. You can see maybe some blinks in the corner here.
Yes, yes.
Oh
I
yeah,
see
I
the
can
red
see one
flashing.
strobe down there.
That's
Yeah.
blinking. So
Or two.
you
Red,
can
yeah.
yes, you can see also the plane there.
Yeah, excellent. It's so cool that this is an outside broadcast. Our audio viewers, we're looking at the flying fields with some netting behind Matteo here, and the runway lights flashing, and some brave soul up there just zooming back and forth behind him with lights on wings.
Is the DJI camera not very good at night though? I haven't experienced it.
There's a range of them, but they're not great.
Ah.
Yes, you can see something, but compare, for example, yesterday I was using a Runcam O. I could really see way better than DJI user. My problem was the resolution, and since there is just grass around here, it's really hard to get a good idea about the height. And I was flying. Oh, there is two of them in the air. I think yes. There are two in the air now, so they are fighting, I think. The good thing in the nighttime is that the range gets incredibly high compared to the daytime, because of course there is not the irradiation from the sunlight, so you can shoot each other from about, I don't know, 60, 70 meters far. So from here I could actually hit the planes with no problem with the gun.
Cool.
Excellent.
Yep.
That's interesting.
But because of the sun, it reduces the range abilities for the shooting, I guess. Huh.
Yes, the sun is irradiating a lot of light in the really wide spectrum of the electromagnetic spectrum. So the infrared is the problem because it is based on infrared, and of course the noise, the baseline noise that you have from the sun is reducing the range just because it's harder to filter the infrared LED gun.
That makes sense.
We have a pretty reasonable range, and that was one of the most tricky part of the project since the beginning, because when I started designing the system, my question was why it doesn't exist yet. So 5-6 years ago when I started, it was like, I can't believe nobody thought about this, because I'm not a genius. I just don't believe that nobody talked about that. And then I figured out that the problem was to make it work in the real life. So that was the tricky part of all the project, because also other systems around exist. They have decent performance, but they lack on when they have to be reliable on shooting from far. And the shooting distance could be still improved here, because we are not using any optical collimating system, any lens in front of the beam. So basically it is just the gun.
Oh, they're getting close.
Yep. Oh, yep. They like to chase each other, of course. And
So without
Oh,
a
you
lens
think you're
in
putting a
front of
lens
the-
in front then? Sorry, yeah, snap.
yeah, sorry. Say that again.
Well, I was just gonna say, yeah. So by putting the lens, you'll be able to, narrow that beam and aim it a little better, right? So
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Actually, right now the beam is really narrow. We are talking about an opening of about, I think, 12 degrees, the maximum opening. So it's really narrow. and that's why you can get a very good range in daylight. And also there are some other details that I will not enter into. But actually, yes, it is already pretty narrow. But even though it is a 12 degrees opening, at 10 meter it will be a big circle. So you can imagine that all that light is not focused in one smaller point, and you're basically losing some of the shooting power just because of that.
Yeah.
And of course, it is most the distribution of the power light is mostly in the center. So you have the feeling that is, if you align the gun with the sight in the OSD, basically you need to aim to get the shot at a very far distance, even if it is not optically collimated, the beam.
You have to
But
be
if you're
very
close,
accurate,
you can
right?
fire, and you're more or less guaranteed to hit.
Not really, because it's really narrow. So if the closer you get, the smaller is the circle. So you will need to aim in any case, because it will be.
No, you just have.
Yes, you need to aim. It will not be like maybe now when it's completely dark, you will get some easy shots when you're flying really close to each other, or I don't know, within the range of 5-10 meters, not more. But once you get a little bit farther in daytime, there is no problem. You have to aim, because you will not be able to shoot and hit the other opponents. And in nighttime, of course, the distance will be higher, because it will be harder to understand where exactly it is the other player. So in any case, nobody could complain about the aiming or the distance. And of course, improvement can be done, but you have to consider also that if you optically collimate the beam, you will get, of course, a narrower beam, and you will need to be more precise in aiming. And even you will have, of course, longer shooting range, but on the other side, you have to be more precise. And what happens is basically you want to find the sweet balance point between the range and the opening of the beam, because you're not really interested in getting crazy range, because the range will, in any case, if you're flying analog, you will not see your opponent when they are over, I don't know, 30 meters, unless they are flying some very big models.
And I guess the further away that it is, that beam is going to kind of balloon open, and then you're going to have to be even more accurate, I guess, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah,
that's correct.
Interesting.
We had one question asking if this was a laser diode. I think it's just an infrared LED from the product page. What are you using?
Yes, it's an infrared LED. It's not a laser product. It's an infrared LED with a very narrow beam, and that can be driven at pretty high rates.
So I had a question for you, actually. If, say, you were to, put some type of optical or like some kind of glass or lens in front of it, do you have to worry about like lens refractions and it affecting the way that the beam gets put out, or have you messed around with that at all, or?
We never did any kind of testing about that. About the refraction of the light, we didn't experience any big problems, because we didn't use on the plane. But back in the days when I was making some platform for Model Drone, which is a company in Italy, that hosted a few events in Italy and some fairs, and so we bring the Combat as entertainment system for the audience, actually. So there were some full-scale cockpit and drones, and people could shoot at the drones at the fair. And we built some bazooka-looking cannons, and yes, exactly, they were like big pipelines, like 90, 100 millimeter in diameter. We installed some audio system, amplifier, some vibration system to get the feedback when you shoot, and they had the ammos. So, and for that purposes, we installed also an optical collimating system. So we got a really good lens, about 90 millimeters in diameter, and we focused actually the beam at very far distance. So we had a just like 10 centimeter circle
Just
shooting.
Very tiny. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it was like about a circle like that, and that was all straight, like a laser of 10 centimeter in diameter. So you can shoot incredibly far with that one. But of course, it's not something that we are gonna use here, because you can imagine it was like pretty big.
Yeah, and heavy and yeah.
Yeah, so
Yep.
not something you will install on a model.
No.
I made some experiments with some focusing lens designed for lasers, and like very small. I could get some good results, but actually we never really had the need to improve the optical distance. So the shooting distance by optically improve the system.
Yeah.
And so this is also a great opportunity to collect the feedback from users, because we have some really active pilots here, and so that's really good to get the feedback from them about their real life usage and problems.
It sounds like you've removed pretty much all the bugs from the system now. Then is it in a final state, or do you think you'll do anything else?
No, there is still margin to improve it, and about the basic functionalities, it's pretty good. It's working. It's reliable. People don't experience many big problems, and I think there is margin to improve. For example, the customization of the system. For example, the OSD elements in the future might be possible to move them in the OSD, like you would do on a traditional OSD back in the
Some
days.
sort of firmware programmer that you could connect to the computer or something.
Maybe. When everything started a few years ago, and the audience was a little bit different, and now we have a better understanding about who are the users that are actually using the system. And so GUI on the workstation is not scaring anybody now here, and as it used to, for example, back in the days. And in any case, I want the system to be very simple, like plug the power, connect the trigger, and shoot each other and have fun without any configuration. So you have to find the sweet balance point between customization possibility and simple configuration of the system and working out of the box, because not everybody are getting all the features. So for example, here we are gonna play some also battles with the full telemetry modules, so we will be able to have also some strategical different approaches from other pilots, because you can configure, for example, the shooting power of your system, the shooting rate, the defense level, and according to these parameters, you will be able to make more damage to other opponents, or you can defend yourself a little bit more, or it will be easier or harder to hit the other.
So if you have a very experienced pilot, so they can play with some new pilots, and it'll be balanced.
No, I don't think so. Honestly, you can immediately see who is the experienced pilot and who is not. And I am not one of the experienced pilot, because I am most of the time improving the system and making testing instead of using it. And so I mainly get the feedback from other pilots. And so you can see here how they fly, how confident they are when they make maneuvers, crazy maneuvers. This is screaming.
There he goes.
It's
That's a loud
completely
one.
dark.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a big one.
It brings us to a question we've got in the chat here, where people are wondering, what cameras are these people running? They've got some kind of Starlight cameras they're running, and what type of lenses do you prefer for dogfighting like this?
In my personal thoughts is that you need to get the best camera you can get, like with good resolution and good performance with the lights. And for night flying is something that we are mainly experimenting right here. So in my case, I'm using good old Runcam OL, and I was getting really good results, analog of course. And they are using some. I can hear some screams from. I don't know if you could hear that.
Yeah, we're getting all the screens. It's fantastic. We can still hear you though, so don't worry.
Yeah, you can see.
Yeah.
Up there, they are fighting, and I cannot see anything. It's just dark right now, so I don't know what they are doing. Actually, I just hear them. Sometimes
they're chasing lights, and let's hope it's another plane and not a car.
I actually had a question for you about maybe some of the game modes or the different things that you do on the system. Have you? I'm not sure if this is implemented in it or not, or if it's something you might do in the future. But have you ever thought of putting, like, once you get so many hits on someone, you get an extra, an extra type of, gun, or as you get more hits, you get better sort of, tools to use over time, so you have more of an advantage, kind of thing, or?
I never personally thought about that, and that's why we like to collect the feedback from the people, because. For example, back in the days, a couple of years ago, when I first met with the German guys that were mainly using the system, we experienced we tried to use the games, and we realized that the joining procedure for the games was a little bit too complex, overcomplicated, and the first time we had troubles just trying to join the game, because I don't know, it was summertime. Oh, they're gonna crash maybe. No. So it was like tricky, because I don't know, there was the TBS guy with the incredibly hot transmitter VTX, and it was switching off the video, so he couldn't join the game. He was missing that. So it was a good occasion to get, okay, this is not working straightforward. We had to make something different. So then I rethought about how to make it simpler and also DJI friendly. And so it got improved, and then So this kind of feedback actually is really good. That's a great idea to collect points and get extra.
Collect points and get power-ups, exactly like FX Node was saying in the chat. Yeah.
The fact is that the ideas are coming sometimes really often from very different part of the world. Sometimes they come ideas that are already implemented and say, you should maybe start using the system first, and then you will get a better understanding about the capabilities. And of course, from the gamer community, there is some really good inputs, because most of the people who are playing now or used to play simulation game or video game in general, and so they also have something to share about their previous experience in different activities. So collecting points might be an idea. Or for example, we talked about the drones or fixed wing racing wing, and that could be a possibility, for example, to cut the power of a player when you hit him, in order to let you boost your power, for example, and pass him. So that could be another improvement that is way more oriented for the racing, especially fixed wing, but also drones.
Yeah, it looks like Carolyn in the chat said, maybe add shake in the video feed from the camera as your plane gets more damaged.
That's already done.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
So actually, yes, that's the rudder, the aileron, the throttle. You get damage, you will feel it. And for example, there is a mode where you can set up a specific value and override the input to a desired value, and for example, turn off the motor when you lost your last life.
I can just imagine all sorts of fun things. Like, I think one of the good power-ups if someone collects would be everybody else has their controls reversed for like 30 seconds, and just to see if they can stay in the air and survive it.
That could be fun. Yep. That could be on the other side.
So I was just going to show this, that they've actually got servo pass-through. So you can see this is the full-size board with a beeper, and there's a camera over here. So not camera. There's the LED cannon, if you will, over here. No, that's the receiver, I believe, and that's the cannon part over here that shoots. But
Yes.
you can see you pass through all of the servo pins. So you've got servo in and out, which means that the servo values can be modified when you take a hit. So you can make the craft shake from side to side or up and down, or lose a control surface effectively, make it work less
That's
correctly
correct.
when you get hit.
Or limit someone's speed, I think, is a good one as well. Give that an advantage to other people. Which is cool, because it means going from a normal flight controller, it means you're not limited on your radio. Like if you're using Crossfire and something, you'd just take the PWM pin out of your flight controller and pass it into here, and then go out to the servo. So you're not restricted on what you're using there, which is cool. This is so good, because back in the olden days when we used to meet up, if we wanted to do combat, we'd fly into each other. And this would have been much more fun. We'd have got much better video than just suddenly you're going along, suddenly your video goes dead because someone's hit you and taken your battery out completely.
Yeah, that's definitely something that you don't want, as first experience at least.
I like it a lot. So this has been kind of your first big event. Is this making you think about when to do the next one, or are there other people going to do other things at different places around the world?
Okay, that's a tricky question, because we don't know how it will evolve. If this will be an annual event, maybe in Europe at least.
Yes,
So
people are excited about that. Actually, the people which are here.
So maybe in Europe, yes, might be, but the numbers of users are still a little bit low, because we are talking about FPV pilots, which are not a lot in general, and this is more focused for fixed wing flyers, because I don't know, that was the trend. I think.
No, actually, I would say we have a lot of warbirds here.
Yeah, but
Which-
fixed.
Yeah, fixed wing warbirds, sure. And actually, we could call that the first world championship, because we have guests from Africa here.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
I'd encourage people to get involved. The kit seems reasonably priced. We've got the micro kit and the full kit, £35 and £45 respectively. And Hobby RC has stocks of the micro kit right now. If people want to get involved, what's the difference between the micro kit and the full size kit?
So basically, the standard size is a fully ready to plug and play system. So you can directly connect your LiPo battery directly into the board up to, as I remember, 9S high voltage S. So that's absolutely no problem. And it has a local voltage regulator, so you will not get trouble with the shooting power of the gun and the OSD, the video. So this is designed to be worked outdoor to get the maximum range, and everything is designed to get very simple wirings. So you just have to solder maybe the power cable, and that's it. And the video section.
And it's on 30 by 30 mounts by the looks of it as well.
Yes, at the moment, yes. The micro version, it was designed to be used on tiny whoop or very small models, and mainly indoor, because on the microboard you cannot place any kind of local power regulation, because there is barely the space to make the controller and the OSD section. So you will not get the full power from the micro version unless you will pair it with an accessory that is available, and it's the high power driver. Will
Okay.
actually let you use the microboard and convert the gun in the microboard to a standard full power gun. So you could use on small drones that can fly, I don't know, a 3 inches drone. You could install the microboard pair with the driver, and then you would get the full range also outdoor.
So it's going to be a limited range, but it's very, very small by comparison. Instead of 30 by 30, this looks more like a kind of 10 by 20 sort of size.
It is something like 15 by 19, I think.
Excellent.
15
So
millimeters
pretty easy
by
to
19,
fit in.
because there was an American guy that asked me, please make it smaller than 20. And unless I will not be able to use in my tiny
So it's
tent.
basically like a crossfire module type of size.
It looks like, yeah. Or the mini micro OSD, the very old.
So do you have any plans for indoor events as well? This one, half of the micro kit, which unfortunately is the only one in stock in the UK because the full size appear to have sold out.
Yes, actually, there was a problem with the restocking. I couldn't restock by myself because the manufacturing costs got so crazy high that actually only the controller, I would tell you, only the controller which is used on that board costs now more than the price that people could purchase the whole system.
Ouch.
Yeah. So basically, I couldn't manufacture it because it was not. Nobody would buy it for like 3 times the price that it used to cost before.
Sure. So going forward, is there a plan to find an alternative controller, maybe redesign with a different chip or anything?
Actually, one of the main things that has to be done now is to integrate the digital OSD on all the platforms. That is the first step. And in the same time, I'm thinking about moving to a different platform because with this one, I basically hit the limit. I don't have any space for any kind of additional implementation. I could make some code optimization, of course, but it's gonna save just a small amount of memory, and it's just not enough, not more enough, not anymore enough.
Not
for, not at the moment. So in the next version, we might be able to see something like a system with integrated also the RF modules all in one place with same size or maybe smaller with digital support. That is what is hopefully gonna.
That would be excellent. So you'd use like MSP DisplayPort or something and work with HD0 and potentially the DJI when they're hacked as well?
Yeah, that would be the way to go.
Excellent.
Actually, with HD0, I already have something working, but wasn't able to release it. So it's gonna take a little bit more time.
Okay. Your fellow pilot was screaming that this is going to be an annual event and people should prepare for the next one. Have you got any upcoming events for people who haven't been able to make it to FPV Combat at Model City?
No, because actually we are coming from all different parts of Europe. There are only, I think, 2 pilots that join us from local pilots, and they just join at the very end of today. For example, they say, okay, we will come there. And basically they are not even users of the FPV Combat system, so they will install it tomorrow hopefully, and they will start using
Excellent.
it tomorrow.
Well, that speaks to how compelling it is. People just turn up and install it there and then, ready to take to the skies and fight you all.
Yes, because actually we have like the masters here which are really have a lot of experience with the system, so you can help each other get some instant feedback about what is okay, how to do that, what about the wiring. A guy today asked me, I would like to wire this kind of LED, they are not addressable, can I use them? I said, okay, yes, sure. We could show that we updated the boards, so there is a really good atmosphere here between the pilots, because everybody are here just to have fun and take the best from the experience, and they don't expect to be racing like crazy, but just fight and have the loudest.
Just have fun.
Yes, loudest
So-
scream.
If people have seen this and they think it's amazing and they want to get involved, where should they go?
I think they should go on Facebook. Of course, there is a great community which is growing up really fast and dedicated. So you can look for the FPV Combat community group on Facebook. There is the FPV Combat official page, and if you go on the website fpv-combat.com, you will see also a map with the users basically around the world. And you can. What I'm trying to do is to collect some contacts from the people that are either interested in getting into the FPV Combat community or already using it, and to list them on that map, so you can basically reach them out and figure out who is flying around the area. And yeah, we have already some people that actually started flying together after they meet on the socials, and they said, "Hey, I'm looking for a buddy to fly," and then, "Hey, I'm here, I'm waiting for you," and then I don't know, they started hanging out and have fights.
Excellent. So if people want, have you gone through any of the flying clubs? If people want to start having matches at their clubs, is there anything that they should sort out? Anyone they could contact to get their club involved?
No, at the moment there are no clubs involved. We are happy that we found this place here that doesn't have any problem with the FPV flyers, because generally FPV is not really well considered by the community of traditional loss pilots. So we are happy that we are able to meet here, and we will see. It's really hard because, as I said, the numbers are not incredibly high, so maybe we could see something to start working on its own feet. In Germany, for example, or in Austria, there are several pilots from that area. But for example, I'm originally from Italy. I moved to Lithuania. I don't have many people to fly with, so in that area, I don't expect to get any big events in the next future. So we have to find some places where to collect people, and people has to be ready to travel a little bit, because in my case it was 1,200 kilometers. Then people from Africa, I will not even count how far they are, but yes, they are doing some crazy stuff as well. Also from Sweden, he traveled a couple of days to reach us.
If people want to practice and they don't have anyone to fly against, is there any sort of system they can set up so they can shoot things on the ground? You mentioned bombing. Is there an IR target they could shoot on the ground?
There might be a release in the future, some firmware for some do-it-yourself platform for static target. I actually, at the beginning, I started implementing a game which involved some multiple targets that people could have built by themselves, but that was too advanced for the project. That it was just
It needs to be a kit and simple,
yes.
not a circuit board creation. Yeah.
No, it was not like it would have been just an Arduino project, so affordable for everyone. You just connect a sensor that could be also a ready-to-go module with infrared systems, something like that. But the problem is that it was designed for somebody that already is using the system and wants to get something more from it. So it's not like the entry-level user that starts approaching to the system.
Right.
If you want to use the system and you're alone, you could just simply use two systems. One, you can just power it up, arm with the infrared remote controller, and let it stand somewhere where you want, and place some lights so it may be visible if you fly in nighttime or in daytime. Just put it next to something that you can easily find while flying, and yep, you can actually have fun also if you're flying alone. Of course, it will be better if you find someone else And there are some projects that I was thinking about. I will not talk about that now. We will see. There are some good ideas that are really possible to make, to realize, but that will require a lot of time. And at the moment, I think that the priority is to get the OSD for the digital user instead of focusing
That
on.
would be fantastic. I've got a lot of digital quads myself, so that would be
Yes.
excellent to see.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like Caroline in the chat just bought the full size kit from TBS site, and
Okay.
so very cool. Yeah.
So in other words, you can still get it from TBS, even though other places may be out of stock.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's where to go, folks. Over to TBS.
Yeah, I think now there are a few stores in the US. Also, Get FPV. I think it should have it listed on his website, and you can buy it. Always, if you are in the US, you can buy from Video Aerial System. We hope to see soon it in the flight test store as well, but we are working on it. And in Europe, there are some flying machines, for example, in Germany, and other dealers are listed on the website. And there is also the official store directly on the.
Yeah, we should have plugged out the head. I didn't realise you had your own shop. We're always talking about it not being in stock. Here we are. You've got 83 in stock in the official FPV Combat store. So there you are. Let's put some money over to the project here, and hopefully it doesn't get held up in UK customs like everything else seems to.
I don't know. I already shipped some. I think in UK there was Hobby RC UK.
Yep.
I think
They've got the micro one, but not the full size. But
okay.
so for full size TBS or the FPV Combat store, they both seem to have some in stock for UK users. And for American viewers, I guess you need to look at the dealers list. There's probably like 20 different dealers in the US. So fpvcombat.com, there's a big old list of all the dealers
Actually,
there.
I think in the US there are just 2 or 3, maybe. For sure, Video Aerial System.
Oh yeah,
And,
you
yes.
just list one actually. You just list Video Aerial Systems. So maybe just one in the US.
Yes, because I wasn't really worried about the others. I had the distribution with another, so it was a little bit trickier and to follow that. So I list only that one because it was the official US channel is Video Aerial System
Very cool.
at
Excellent.
the moment, at least.
It's wonderful to see the project doing so well. It's wonderful to hear the plane screaming past behind you and everyone clearly enjoying FPV combat and having a great time. It looks like it's finally gotten too dark and they've given up flying. It was impressive that they carried on so late.
The lights are still light up. You can see the green landing strip lights, and then we have also some blinking red lights.
But no pilots at the moment because they've all gone to the bar.
They are hidden somewhere behind that. I don't know.
It's great to see the community that you've built. I think it's absolutely excellent. It really is. And so I wish you the best of luck. I think we're drawing to the end of the show now. Is there anything you want to get in, Matteo, about the project or what you want people to know about the future?
No, actually, you have to try it and just try not to get addicted to that because that's addicting. It's something like, it's a great feeling when you hit somebody and you hear him screaming next to you because you hit him and he felt the hit. It is like incredibly satisfying experience.
Editor soundbite. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much, Matteo, for dialing in from the field and fighting through a Wi-Fi connection in the middle of an event.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it, and excellent to see your project doing so well.
Thank you.
All right. You have been joined by Matteo of FPV Combat. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Curry Kitten, everyone's favorite.
Again, the wrong way around. We'll have to.
Favourite everyone's Curry
Kitten.
Kitten.
Goodbye.
Cole, our social media wizard,
See ya.
and myself, Stephen. Thank you very much, and a huge thanks to all of our Patreons. We really appreciate the support you give us.
Good evening, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
See you.